rear brake inspection on the Daihatsu Midget II. I'm changing the wheels out. Since I'm in here, might as well have a little look. Looks like they've got a bunch of life left in them. And I will tell you that the nut on my assembly, man, that was tight. We'll have to look up the torque specs on that, but that thing was tight. All right, another look after a good shot of brake cleaner. Take that dust down. Parking brake works, I know, because I had it engaged a few minutes ago. I had to release it to take the drum off. Yeah. No cracks and hardly any difference between the outside and the inside, so there's not a lot of wear on that drum either. Here's another thing I think is interesting about my rear brakes is you can probably see the oval port behind the brake shoe. There are two of them. One's vertical, one's horizontal. Normal, and those are plugged with little rubber plugs. Normally, you would assume that a drum brake setup like this would have a place for you to reach in with a screwdriver and make adjustments, increase or decrease the preset position of the brake pads. But actually, on this one, you can see the silver paw with the teeth on it. The only thing you can do is reach in with a screwdriver and push that down to release the preset. It looks like those teeth ratchet up over time, and when you need to get the drum off and there is a lip on the drum, which most times there are, then that's how you release it. It's come in from the back, get your screwdriver, release the preload. The Daihatsu Midget II, so freaking many hoses. Lots of different sizes. The intake gasket is aluminum plate with like paint on it. No, it's not aluminum, excuse me, because there's some rust right there. But yeah, golly, for a little bitty simple engine, it has a lot of hoses. Okay, I am very close to wrapping up the long-term maintenance on the Daihatsu Midget II. One of the things that I've done is to change out the wheels. The stock wheels on this vehicle were 10-inch, and I have swapped them for some 12-inch that came off my Subaru Sandbar. I purchased through eBay some adapters because the lug pattern is different. The lug pattern on the Daihatsu Midget is 4 by 110 millimeters, and the Subaru is 4 by 100 meters. So I got some 1-inch adapter plates, put on some bigger tires. This is a much better quality tire than the LT light truck tires that was on it. It rides so much better, but I don't think I like the blue. I think I'm gonna go with gray and replace that blue, go with something that's close to, if not a match for, the trim on this vehicle. So why did I do all this stuff on a vehicle that ran well anyway? Part of the fun for me is to, ensure that these things are operating at their original performance level, and to make them last. I've got a real strong desire for custodial work, because these things won't be made again. Regulations, market changes, they're not going to be made again. So the only way that we can ensure these are still around for our kids and our grandkids to enjoy is to do the work, do the maintenance, spend the money, and that's what I've done on this one. Rust is a big issue. Oil changes are critical. If you want any vehicle to last, you need to do oil changes on the regular, not, go 10,000 miles and then do 3 oil changes. Do them on time every time. and check your vehicle for rust. Seal it up, mitigate it. These were made to be inexpensive vehicles, so they didn't get maybe as much rust and corrosion protection as they could have. So we need to keep that in mind as we are making sure that these last and exist for our grandkids to enjoy. So there are a few things left. It's been super cold here in Birmingham over the last week or so as I finished this up. So there are a few things that I want to improve, like the idle. It's erratic, partially because it's so darn cold, I think. But I don't like where the idle is. I'm going to work on that. And the transmission, the gear selector doesn't fall into the park reverse neutral slots quite as smoothly as I'd like. So I'm going to work on those things as it gets warmer. But by and large, it's done. I can really tell a noticeable difference having ported the intake manifold. And I'll do a little drive on this just a moment to show the pickup, but it really made a difference. It didn't turn it into something that's fast, but it's worth doing if you have your intake removed. So here's a quick spin in the vehicle. Still cold as it could be, but I think it's up to temperature. We're kind of climbing up the First Avenue North Bridge near Sloss Furnace, and yeah, the ride quality with these larger tires is so improved, so much better. And another thing that I would recommend is the heat insulation you saw me do in other videos in the engine compartment. It cut down the noise dramatically. It makes it a much more enjoyable drive. So I would call this practically finished, but is any project ever really finished when you're working on cars? That's a question that rolls around in my mind a lot. So maybe I'm finished, maybe I'm not. But man, what an improvement, and I'm confident that this thing's not going to leave me stranded. And looking forward to the next project.